Hey y'all, this is Danny with DD Fitness, and I got a very special video for you today, and I'm really excited to bring this to you. I made a trip, and I am here with Nolan from Force USA. He invited me over to the garage to look at some of the products that Force USA sells and what's going to be coming out in the future, and I can't wait to talk about that with you. So let me go ahead and introduce you to Nolan. How you doing today?
Man. I'm doing great, man.
Nice
I appreciate
to meet
you coming out, man. This is pretty fun because you get to do a lot of stuff online, and this is the first time I get to show off my garage gym and be able to show off some of the Force USA equipment.
Awesome.
So a lot of the tinkering happens here, a lot of the sales ideas happens here, so it's kind of fun to show a little inside look of what's going on.
Awesome. So if you don't know who Nolan is, he handles the B2B side of Force USA. So Nolan, you want to provide a little bit more details about that?
Yeah, for sure. So I'm head of sales for our North American department, and I handle B2B sales for us. So I have a background of being in this side of the industry for about over a decade now. But I started in a storefront, sold a bunch of equipment, then ended up working for a brand and being a rep for them, Inspire Fitness, and then I jumped on with Force USA about 4 or 5 years ago. And so it's just been a really fun industry to be a part of. And so now I get to help not just with sales, but also with product development. So a lot of what you get to see in my home garage gym is really me getting to test a lot of the product before either we launch it or as we launch it. So I make sure that it's up to par and up to scratch for what we want for the customer to have. So it's a lot of fun, man.
Nice. And so how much are your hands into the development of the products?
A lot, man. So, a big part about this company is, even though we're in 30 plus countries, we're a global brand, we're still really small in the sense of like our team. So like a lot of our team members wear a lot of hats, and so I'm fortunate enough to be able to run the sales division, but also be heavily a part of the product development. So I'm on the phone every night with our team. We have teams split between the US and Australia. We have teams out in Europe, like we have teams all over the world, but we're constantly on the phone working with our developing team. It's really important to have the sales, the engineers, and all of them kind of head to head in a room, because a lot of the development and the good ideas come from that. And guys like you, we're on the internet, we're always in the feeds, we're in the Reddit feeds, we're reading all the stuff. So it's like being able to take all that, digest it, and then work as a team to come out with a new product. It makes it like a premium product because of all of the heads that get to come together.
Perfect. Yeah, and I found Nolan through Instagram. We connected through there, and we kind of kept in touch, and then we kind of live in the same area in Central Texas. So it was an honor for him to invite me out here. So again, I appreciate you bringing me out here. Okay, so if you're not familiar with Force USA, they have been around for quite some time. If you've been keeping up with them, then they have been making some very phenomenal pieces of equipment. Some of the popular things that really popped out last year, I believe, was the C20 that came out.
C20 was one of our biggest launches that we had, and that was our first kind of introduction to the 3x3 lineup.
Right, that's right, because you normally do most of your racks in 2x2 formats, correct?
Correct, yeah.
Okay, perfect. So if you're not familiar with the C20, I'm not going to waste a lot of time on that. You can do some research. There's a lot of content creators that have reviewed it and has given it very good praise. But for today, we're going to talk about some of the more up-to-date stuff that they have introduced, and then what's going to be coming out in the future. So as far as right now, where is Force USA going as far as looking into the future for this year and for next year?
We have a lot in the pipeline. We've been working, and we've been doing a lot of things behind the scenes because we've gotten really excited over the last couple of years. I think just with the community alone and a lot of the feedback and some of the innovations that are happening in the market, that it's just, I think it's creating just a lot of motivation within our company alone. So we got a lot of new products, with the new 3x3 lineup, the C20, the Tandem Tower, the FTR. Like that was a really big launch for us and something we were excited about because we were creating a new ecosystem that's going to fall into that 3x3 lineup. We realized that there was a lot of customer base out there that maybe didn't have a 2x2 uprights and they had 3x3 uprights, and they wanted to work within that ecosystem. So we wanted to be able to offer both. And so that was a big reason why we jumped into that space. But now that we really opened up a new can of worms, because when we came out with that product, we didn't just upgrade the uprights. We upgraded the paint. We upgraded to freestyle articulating arms. We went to premium knurled handles on every touch point. Like all of the details that started coming into this design are now trickling into the new 2x2s of the future, the new 3x3s of the future, the new ecosystem that we've now created. So Force is on a completely new trajectory, and we're excited about it this year.
Nice, nice. And we're going to actually talk about one of their newer products, but we'll bring that into the video later on. What we're going to talk about right now is just what they currently have right now. And you can see in the background, I'll move the videos around. This is the C10, correct?
Correct, yeah.
All right, so if you're not familiar with the C10 came out in 24 or 25?
2024.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right.
That was this was one of our most successful pieces we ever came out with. It was our first time launching a product that had center cables down the middle of the profile. And so that like opened up a whole new range of exercises for the individuals, because most people would get an all-in-one rack or a power rack, and if they got a cable system, it was only on the outside uprights.
Right.
And so we were able to have the outside uprights with cable systems, and then double pulley top to bottom down the middle really changed a lot. And then you pair that with our patented sliding bench. That was the game changer for us.
Right, right.
Yeah.
Do you have the bench here?
So the sliding bench is standing up right inside the unit, right there.
Perfect, perfect.
So I think that's another thing is people, when they see this unit, I don't think they realize how compact it is. And that's, I think, really a tribute to a lot of its success, is it doesn't take up a lot of room, but it does a lot in that small footprint. And so that sliding bench, even though it's long when you're using it, when you're not using it, stand it up into the unit, and now it's as if that space is not being used at all.
Nice, nice. And if I'm not mistaken, I know that when we had there was the, I think it was in Europe, they just had a gym convention there.
Yeah,
and
FIBO.
Y'all just introduced a new bench, right?
We did. So FIBO is always a great one for us. You know, Home Gym Con is our big one here in the US that's really starting to develop over the last couple of years. It used to be HFA or HSA, or not HSA, HFA and URSA is what it was called before. That was really the only show that we had in the US to like go ahead and showcase some of our new product. Well, now with the rise of Home Gym Con, we have a really fun space to go and like show off some of the new innovations. But FIBO is the biggest when it comes to Europe and really around the globe. So if you want to get a global presence, being at FIBO is kind of a thing that you have to do.
Nice.
And it's something we love doing because, again, we have presence all over the world. So be able to bring in our staff that's in, you know, Europe, that comes from South America, and we bring like all of our staff out there. German speaking, Spanish speaking, you know, any Asian languages you can think of, we have people in the booth there so that we can show our products to the rest of the world. But it's also a chance for sometimes to get a sneak peek of what's going on in the background.
Right.
So we did show off some of our new stuff. We do have a bench that's in the works. It's not ready yet. We're hoping that we can have it ready towards the end of the year, but I don't really have an update on the new sliding bench yet, but it is in the works.
Oh, and if you don't know about Home Gym Con, that's a new home gym community convention that's just started about 2 or 3 years ago. I think this is going to be the 3rd year. It's going to be at the end of August. I'm sorry, at the end of July and beginning of August. It's a 3-day event. So you definitely want to go if you're a home gym enthusiast, because all these companies will be there, and Force USA will be there, and they, if I'm not mistaken, will be introducing a couple of new products, correct?
We will. This will be one of our biggest displays yet. So
Perfect,
we're going
perfect.
to come out swinging.
Nice. So I'm not going to indulge into too much because I know some of that stuff will be brought to light later, but we do have one product that's going to be released next week, correct?
Yeah, on Monday.
All right, so we'll talk a little bit more about that. You probably see it over here, and we'll introduce that in just a moment. But for now, we're going to talk about this piece over here. So let me go ahead and change the screen so you can see what we're looking at over here. Okay, so we are down over here with the Force USA TT is what it's called?
TT for short, Tandem Tower.
Tandem Tower is what it's called. Sorry, I forgot. My brain went dead for just a moment. It's a little hot outside, so I'm still trying to cool off a little bit. But this is the Force USA Tandem Tower. And if you're familiar with it, you notice that it does have a dual post instead of the single post that you usually see. What was the reason for doing the dual post instead of the single?
Well, I mean, as you know, on the market, there's a lot of towers, and a lot of them are still your kind of traditional style tower where you got the top pulley, low pulley, and then one of the bigger innovations in the last few years was putting a trolley on it, so something that you could actually make an adjustment from that center pulley point. So as we saw all those current designs, we wanted to put our own twist on it, and there's been a couple things in the market where they've split it up into like some sort of 2x2 upright, but it wasn't really done on a 3x3 with articulating arms. There really wasn't this idea on the market yet. So as we started toying with the idea, when we started putting together a few different prototypes, we really started to fall in love with it. And the biggest thing for me, especially now that I've had it in my garage gym and I use it on the daily or the weekly, having the articulating arms and being able to move them independently has changed a lot of ways that I work out. You know, I do really enjoy being able to set that up for a tricep extension, set this up at the bottom for a bicep curl, or to have them freely moving or completely spread out wide so I can get in doing a movement over there while I'm set up for a movement over here. So it gives me space to kind of set up those different exercises. So there's so much creativity that comes with having 2 uprights versus just 1. So instead of limiting you, it's really opening up more options.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I mean, because you're able to do supersets with it, you don't have to change out, and it's a very small footprint.
Yeah.
And for this particular setup that you have in your gym, I noticed that you also have it attached to your rack attachment over here. So this is essentially a very universal product, whether it can be a standalone or attached to a rack, in a wing setup format like that.
It's exactly it. Yeah, and that was a big component of why we came out with this current design. Going to the 3x3 uprights meant that it was more compatible with third-party parts. So as you see over here, you know, I have cross members that I just happen to attach to the back because they're compatible with those uprights. And so for me, because I have it in my own home gym, I'm also a tinkerer. I like to add things to my gym and create things that are a little different than what we currently have. So when you buy this, it doesn't come this way, but it just shows kind of the creativity and some of the things you can do that fit your space. I put a cross member over here so I can hang more attachments, and then I connected it to a really long cross member that we actually sell so you can connect 2 tandem towers together. But instead of attaching another tandem tower, I just made it so I could hang all my attachments really nice.
Perfect, perfect. And then I'm not too familiar with the tandem, but it is one side would be a 2-to-1, and then connect them together would be the 1-to-1, correct?
Exactly, and that was a big thing too. So it's like being able to have the independent motion, especially when you're doing like a row or you're doing a press or something like that. Having that instability in both hands, as we know, creates more stability in the core, or having to engage the core more and things like that. So it's a different form of workout that engages more muscle fibers. And that was a big thing for us when we were like coming out with this design, because now you have the choice. You can use them independently, or you can attach them with one carabiner or an attachment in the middle, and then you can use them at the same time. So
perfect.
Options.
Now, one of the things I always was entertained about was when this first came out and it was introduced to the community, some of the feedback was, how are you going to have a center seat, put down there?
Yeah.
And y'all have the perfect solution for that.
Yeah.
Now, for this, is this just mainly to be used for the tandem tower?
It's exactly it. Yeah. So we designed this centerpiece here. We call this the center connector. And it was our solution so that you could use all attachments or most attachments on the market so that you can use them right down the middle, and then you're not missing out on that capability of this machine. So you still get all the features of having 2 pulleys, 2 uprights, and then being able to center that whatever attachment right down the middle. And so this actually is a specific design to us. We created one that allows you to plug in attachments like a leg hold down or a seat.
Okay.
And then you also have the tubing here, which this is unique to us. So you can actually slide in our foot plate that comes with our sliding bench.
Okay.
Roll that sliding bench in, connect it to the lower, and now you got a hack squat leg press right into your TT.
Nice, nice. That is a really good design. So for people who were complaining about it, if you haven't been keeping up with it, you can see now that this is a very universal and very compatible piece of equipment that doesn't take up a lot of space. And is, in my understanding, should be, in a sense, competitive with lat pull systems and stuff like that, right?
100%. Yeah. That's who we're looking to compete with. But at the end of the day, this is different, and that was kind of what we wanted to do.
And y'all the only ones that have this kind of style set up with the dual post, right?
Yeah.
I don't think there's any company that I've seen that even came out with anything remotely like
There's nobody that's done it with 3x3 uprights, articulating arms, and the style that we've done it. So.
Yeah, the articulating arms alone is a really nice add-on to that. So, and when did this come out again?
We launched this the same time as the C20.
When the C20 came out.
Yeah,
okay.
So all of those were launched late last year in
Okay.
Q3 and Q4. And so we launched the C20, the FTR, and the Tandem Tower all around the same time frame, and we wanted to kind of come out with a bang with the 3x3 series.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
All right, and then is there any plans for any upgrades for this in the future, or is that still something in the works?
So we're not really looking to upgrade the unit itself, but we are continually developing attachments.
Sure.
So I think for us, when we first launched this, we really were eager to get it out to the community. And we didn't have necessarily all the attachments of the ecosystem ready, and so we've been slowly dropping those. And so like one of the example of that is our leg hold down foot plate here. This works on the Tandem Tower, it works on the FTR, it works on our whole ecosystem. But the swivel seat is probably the best partner for this piece, because the swivel seat will allow you to do your lat pull downs and be in a seated position and have your legs like locked in.
Nice.
So we're constantly kind of ironing out all of the pieces that can tie into this instead of trying to fix something on the gym itself.
Okay, so Nolan mentioned that he set this up to where he has the Tandem Tower attached to Crossmember that go back over here. And he did also mention that you can have 2 tandem towers connected, so that way you can get a wide setup for doing flies and whatnot for those designs. And my understanding is that this Crossmember that you have, that's the long one right here, y'all do sell that, correct?
We do, yeah. So we sell a kit that basically is a connector kit between our 2 tandem towers. So if you wanted to set up like a traditional wide cable crossover system, you could do that. You could put 1 tandem tower here, 1 tandem tower here, and connect it with our Crossmember kit.
Okay.
And so the way that I set it up in my garage, because I don't have another tandem tower in here, I really wanted to show the capacity or some of the creativity that you can have with these Crossmember pieces. And so I set it up to, I basically attach it to the back of that upright, put one of the uprights standing here tall, and then I just put it straight across. Obviously you can see I doubled it. And so I have all my weight storage, and now I have all my attachment storage kind of nice and neat here, and then still have space for all my dumbbells.
Nice,
so.
nice. This is a really nice setup. I just love this. You're more organized than I am. So.
Yeah. OCD, man. It's
yeah. Yeah, so maybe I need to look into that. So we already talked about the C10. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. Like I said, there's a lot of reviews. It's been out for a long time. The main reason why I did come out here is to talk about the new product that actually is going to be launching next week. And you said it's going to be launched on Monday, correct?
Correct, yeah. So I don't know when you're going to be launching this video, but June 1st is when it'll be launching.
If this video comes out after June 1st, it came out on June 1st. So there you go. So this is what we're going to be talking about, and we're going to go ahead and walk right over here to it. All right, so the main thing that I came out here for was to introduce you to their new line of products. And this is going to actually be called, if I'm not mistaken, the M series, correct?
Correct, yep. This is the M10. This is the first of another product that will be a part of the series.
Nice.
Yeah.
Now, I got a little bit of the information about this, and this is not your normal 2x2 rack that you're kind of used to seeing, especially in the budget market. You're probably familiar with a lot of the other companies that do make 2x2s, and they have good functional features on them. Excuse me, but after kind of talking with Nolan about how this is going to present it, this is a completely, in my opinion, new way to approach a 2x2 rack system and make it a premium feel without having to have a 3x3 rack system in your gym. So Nolan, you want to go ahead and just kind of give us a little bit of the background of the M10, what made y'all design this, and what are some of the main features that's going to change how this is compared to other ones? Absolutely.
So for us, you know, most of our gyms that we have created in the past have had some form of like a taper in the back, at least most of our lineup in the all-in-one space. And that was a design choice. You know, having the weight stacks tilted made it more accessible and easier for you to see the weight and to change the weight, and to have everything kind of on the back and then kind of tilted in gave you more options for like reaching your attachments and things like that. So there was a lot of reason why we chose to go that way. But as we know, there's a lot of gyms on the market that are more traditional power rack and square. Mm-hmm. And so we did want to offer something that was in that realm that have kind of that same capacity that a true power rack system or design would be. So the M10, we really started getting our wheels spinning and thinking about how can we make a square rack that is Force USA style. And for us, as we have gone into that 3x3 lineup, you know, upgrading to all the premium features like the paint and the articulating arms and the knurled points and all the cool little designs like you're seeing, like the cornerstone design that we came out with, that is all tied into any new piece that we're coming out with. So the M10 is really a product of all of that design work and some of that knowledge that's coming out. So as you look at the M10, it is a 2x2 upright, but this is not like your traditional upright like you mentioned.
Right.
It's 11 gauge steel. It's got 5/8 inch holes, and that's 5/8 inch holes on all sides of the upright. It's a 6-post structure, so you have uprights all over the structure. You have cross members across the same hole pattern. So everything is adjustable. You know, those pull-up handles can be adjusted in and out. You know, you can put attachments on any part of these cross members or uprights. Like, the idea was to build this like a somewhat of a traditional power rack where you had all this customization that you can do, but then still put the Force USA all-in-one spin on it, where we now have articulating arms. We have our Smith bar built into it. We have a lot of the systems that made Force USA who they are really tied into that ecosystem that we're trying to create.
Nice, nice. Yeah. And you also went with the 5/8 hose, and some of the 2x2 that are out there usually have 1-inch hose. What was the reason for going with the 5/8 instead?
Yeah, so for us, like as we're tweaking designs and we're testing product out, we're always looking at like the stability and the integrity of the machine. And so as we went to the uprights, we actually had these in like a 12 gauge and we were even toyed with like 14 gauge. And as we built the prototypes, we're like, that's not up to par with what we want to come out with. We need the quality to be not just high, but we also need the stability and the function of the machine to be up to scratch for what our standards are. So as we started tweaking and messing with some of those things, we decided 11 gauge steel was really the only way we could go. And doing the 5/8 inch holes allowed to keep that integrity, because the bigger the hole means more metal you're cutting out, means less metal that's on the upright.
Right.
It's a pretty simple thing. And since we were cutting this hole pattern all the way around the upright, we really wanted to make sure the integrity of the upright was kept. And so that 5/8 inch hole just really made sense for the whole design.
Okay, so one of the things that you mentioned on here that I really love, and I don't think there's any system that has the 11 gauge steel on a 2x2. Most of them that are out there is going to either be 12 at the very most or a 14 gauge because they just don't put a lot of thought into making an 11 gauge. And I really love that y'all went with that route because it really shows the importance of having a very good structure for your system and not losing the quality of it.
Yeah.
Now, another thing that I couldn't wait to talk about, because when I was looking at some of the specs on it, I was amazed at how they designed it, and he just showed it to me, and we're going to talk about it. But as you know right now, the new thing that's out is the 2-to-1 and the 1-to-1 ratio that is in the articulating handles, more particular with Maxim that they just released. GetRx is also coming out with some articulating handles that has the 2-to-1 and then the 1-to-1 ratio. Now, the way that Force USA approached this was a completely different way, and it's really, really cool on how it's designed. And I'm gonna go ahead and just let Nolan explain what this design is.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you said it, there's a lot of innovation in this space. Everyone is trying to come out with new ways to create resistance on your cable system and utilize and maximize the weight capacity that you have. And this isn't new for us. We've had it on our X15, our G15. We've done this in the past on some of our all-in-one trainers where we offer a 2-to-1 and a 1-to-1. And actually, our G15 was a 2-to-1 and a 4-to-1. So that was kind of cool. We had unique ratios that we've always kind of worked with, and we always did it right here on the pulleys. Well, we decided we wanted to take a different approach. We know that everyone's kind of messing with the articulating arms and coming out with some 2-to-1, 1-to-1 ratio where you have to connect a cable to a different cable. And people are even doing it on the Voltra, you know, they're setting up their different pulleys and trying to double the resistance. And
exactly.
so there's a lot of that happening in the space right now. And so we took a different approach on it, and we said, how can we make this the cleanest and simplest design where we're able to still offer those same ratios, but do it in a way that's different than what's currently in the market. So this is what we call the dual force twist lock design. And I'm sure you're going to show some B-roll here, but just to explain it in a very simple form, it's a simple knurled twist lock that sits at the bottom of the weight stack. And when you want to engage a 1-to-1, you pull it up and you lock it in place, and now you're using a 1-to-1 on your cable system. It's as simple as that.
Nice. It isn't a very, as he mentioned, I will put the B-roll in there so that way you can see how simple and easy it is. The main thing that I was that made me really like it is that it's just a clean design. Like this, and the main thing is because the articulating handles that they have on here, or articulating arms, I'm sorry, is a very short, compact design. And so if you're trying to do that kind of design that Maxim and GetRx is doing, you're going to have to extend those arms out. And y'all, Force USA decided to keep the arm short for a reason. Is there a particular reason why?
Yeah, absolutely. So we toyed with this design for a while, and you know, we loved what was happening in the space. And you know, honestly, we were some of the first in the space with the C10. Again, over 2 years ago, we launched that, and we had the extended arms that could lock into place. And then someone threw a third dimension, and they're like, well, let's move it in the vertical plane. So when we started designing our articulating arms, we were looking at the space and toying with a few different prototypes, and every time we lengthened it too much, there was too much wobble, it was too much shake, it wasn't stable. And so we really found the sweet spot of where you were getting that extra length, but still keeping a stable movement. And then also we wanted to make sure that no matter which direction the pulley is being pulled, you were always going to be hitting a pulley. And so we doubled up the pulleys on the end. We reinforced the entire structure here in the center, so it was very stable. And so this design, it really came out with a lot of thought and purpose for why we did it.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
it's definitely nice. And then, I mean, the design is very nice in here. If you've seen any of the videos or pictures, I mean, this matches the same quality as the other products that they have. Now, another good thing about this rack that I really like is that for people who have small space, low ceilings, or if you have it in the basement, this is probably like the perfect height that's going to be for most people. If I'm not mistaken, the height on this is 86 inches tall, correct?
Correct, yeah, 86.5. And for me, it's perfect because when I open that garage door, it literally goes right over the top of my unit. And so it's similar. We really took that height and we took the average of what most people needed in their homes. And that's really how we came up with that. It's kind of the sweet spot.
Nice, nice.
Yeah.
So that definitely was going to fit for most people. And, you know, some of the other more budget rack systems, they have that same height. So this is going to be in straight competition with them, but with a better quality. Now, as far as the width on this, if I'm not mistaken, you said that it is 48 inches wide, correct?
48 on the outside to outside, and then 44 on the inside to inside.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah.
So that's going to give you the same amount of width that you can have that you see most other racks, whether it's 43, 44 inches on the inside. So this is going to match that as well. Now, another thing that I think is really unique in how this was designed when we were talking is that it's kind of modular, actually, because if you notice, you can actually walk through here. And so they designed this to be able to be used on both sides. So whether you decide to want to have it against your wall or if you want to have it in the middle of space, you're not just tied down to just using one side. They made it to where you can either have the plate down here that I'll show you to keep the frame structured, or it's going to come with a cross member that if you want to have it against the wall, you can put the cross member on the back. And I think that's a really nice design. So what made y'all decide to want to go that route with this to make it a walkthrough instead?
Yeah, I mean, again, it all came down to like when we went to the drawing board and we started creating this new unit, we said, you know, what are the key components or features that we want to have? And so as we started getting down that road, we were like, well, what if you could use both sides of the rack? You know, not everybody is going to put it up against the wall. Some people put their power racks right in the middle of the room.
Right.
And so as we started thinking about that, we're like, well, maybe we can have it do both. So for us, in the way that I currently have it set up, I really love this design, and I didn't know if I would because my space, I usually put things up against the wall. While being able to build this and put it in the middle kind of the room and space away from the wall, it allows me to do my free weight barbell work on the back, and then I don't have to really do anything or change anything or figure out where I'm storing all my attachments or my barbells, even though there's plenty of storage for that. But now I can do all of my cable work here without really any transition.
Right.
There's no adjustment. I just go from the back to the front and like everything is just a flow, and it really is this 360-degree experience. And so that's really why we came out with it that way. But to the point you made, you have the option. If you want to put it up against the wall, the Crossmember here that actually is adding some more storage opportunities here, you can take that off and attach it to the back, and what that'll do is create more stability in the rack and then add more storage to the back that you can put up against the wall.
That's very, very creative. I love that. And if I'm not mistaken, if you decide to do it against the wall, some of the attachments that come with it, did it come with a pegboard also?
So it doesn't come with a pegboard, but it does comes with pegs.
The pegs.
So
right,
and
okay.
the way that we designed the pegs actually is the pegs will actually work inside the 5/8 inch holes.
Oh, okay.
And so
all right.
anywhere the upright is that has a hole, you can use it as your pegboard.
That's pretty
So
creative.
your whole gym is your pegboard.
That's really, really nice. And another thing that he showed me for the attachment that, if I'm not mistaken, these hooks will also come with it as well, correct?
Yes, and this is a new design by us, just again, kind of following that same pegboard kind of design. And we wanted a clean way to put your lat bar, your curl bar, your straight bar, and so those sit really nicely up there.
Nice. And so I just want to see, you can see how the back is on these when you attach it. So you just basically put it in the hole and it just sits down right on the groove right there for it. And so this is really good. And he had this when I came in, he had the lat bar that was stored up here as well. Yeah. Now, as far as the attachments that come with it, before we talk about the weight selectors, what's all the attachments that come with it?
So this is still the Force USA style. We love to include a lot of attachments. Part of the all-in-one experience is to have all the capabilities of a cable system, a Smith, and a power rack, but also have storage. And not just storage, but you need the tools to utilize some of those pieces of the system, like a cable system. So for us, we are including 20 attachments. Nice. And that's going to include a aluminum lap bar, which this is a new upgrade in our new kind of attachment series, or a bar holder, vertical bar holder. Again, I decided to put it on the inside, but you can put that vertical bar holder anywhere, again, that 5/8 inch hole is there. You get the weight horns that you can see. I got creative and I moved the weight horns kind of all over the system, how I thought was best for my space. We include magnetic barbell collars. Those come in right out of the box. You got a body weight strap to help you with your pull-ups. You got ankle straps. You got chains. You got tricep rope. You got our unique design here with our close grip for your rows, but then it also has the ability to be used for landmines, right? So it's everything that we include, there's a purpose behind it, and we want to make sure you have kind of all the tools right out of the box.
Yeah, so there's nothing short of the accessories that come with it. Basically, the only thing that doesn't come that you see over here is the barbell that he has over here, and the playset over here. And it does come with a Smith bar as well, and these rotate very good. I don't think I've ever seen a Smith bar that actually had very good rotating collars on there. And he just showed me another thing that I really like about this, because one of the biggest things that you run into problems when you have a Smith machine on a lot of racks, especially with the 3x3s, is that you don't have good clearance at the bottom to be able to get really low, especially when you're doing deadlifts or RDLs. And the way that this was designed, because it does have a flat platform at the bottom, you can really get some really good depth. And Nolan, how tall are you?
6'2".
6'2".
Yep.
So I'm gonna let Nolan just kind of demonstrate the depth that you can get into it, and it's a really good depth because it goes essentially all the way to the bottom where you don't need to have steppers or a box or anything to get that good depth in there.
Yeah, so this Smith system, just so you guys know kind of the design behind it, our original launch of this kind of thin profile for a Smith was on our C10. So that was the first time we had launched this really super single track, single column Smith machine. And the reason that's important is because most Smith machines you see, you'll have the gun rack over here and then you'll have the guide rod over here. And so they're two separate components. And so a lot of times you'll get friction from that because they're kind of pushing against each other. Or when you're going to lock it out, sometimes it doesn't catch and it'll drop. So having it in line with each other creates a more stable profile. And then it makes it more safe too, because you can lock in and you get more increments as far as where you can actually store the bar.
Nice.
And to the point that you were making, this is one of the lowest starting points in the industry for a Smith. And that really is a tribute to our flat foot design here. So all of our gyms are flat on the ground, so it helps the stability, really stabilizes the gym. But also because of that design, when you have the Smith, you can get all the way down to almost that traditional feel of pulling a barbell off the ground.
Right.
So I can put 45-pound plates on here and there is about this much space off the ground. And so I'm getting pretty much full range when I get in to do my deadlift.
Right.
And so that is all purposely built. And we put the nice knurling, put the IWF lines here, like you mentioned, the spinning sleeves, just all premium touches that we can kind of add in.
And does the collars, do they have needle bearings in there?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. And then I really like the low profile for the stoppers down here. Is these stoppers on other systems, or is this the first time for this one?
So that's a new design that we it first came out with on the C20.
Okay, all right. So it's fairly new, but this is the first 2x2 that y'all had it on. Well, you had it on the C20, which is the
C20 was the first time that we had launched it. But so this is, this is the result of all the premium features that we put on the C20, which is $64.99, not a cheap unit, but it is our most premium and our flagship unit.
Right.
But we wanted to take a lot of the emphasis from that and then tie it into a unit that was more of a mid-range price point.
Sure.
So you can get into this at $29.99 if you use the plate carrier, or if you want a weight stack, it's $34.99. Right. So you're almost half the price of what a C20 is, but you're still getting some of those premium features.
Exactly. Yeah. Now, one thing that doesn't come with this rack, I believe it should be available for purchase, is the shrouds. Is that correct?
Correct, yeah. Thank you for bringing that up. Yeah, the shrouds are an upgrade, and they're full shrouds.
Right.
So they're similar like what we have on the C20. They have actually little slots that you can put the pegs in.
Right.
So that, for us, that's like your pegboard.
Okay.
So if you don't like having to put them on your uprights, then you can buy these shrouds, and you can actually buy 2 sets of the shrouds and put them on both sides. And so you'll essentially have a pegboard on both sides as well. Nice.
So that'll give you some more storage opportunities. And I'll show you a picture of what the shroud looks like, but there is a cutout all the way through the middle on both sides. And I doubt that you would really need it, but you could essentially use weight extenders and you could be able to use them through there, correct?
So I would say it's not necessarily recommended, because I think the issue with that is like if you have a 200-pound set 1-to-1, and then you add the Selector rods on there and you put 3 45s on each side, we just don't know what the people are going to load on those things. So I never say like, yes, you can. Okay. But it's up to your own discretion.
Yeah, true. All right, so we'll leave it at that. And again, it won't be necessary because again, it has the 1-to-1 ratio on there. really most people are not really doing that pulls past 200 unless you're just, you know, weightlifting or being a bodybuilder or anything like that. So this is more, I'm sorry.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt, but one thing, as you were saying that, it made me think about it that I didn't mention. The 200 pounds 1-to-1, that is the max you can get on one side of the unit. If you do the plate carrier, you can get up to 270 pounds because you can load 345s on each side.
Sure.
So if you really need more weight, the plate carrier could be an option for you. Or the reason, one of the other designs that we actually put a lot of thought into, with the freestyle pulley arms, these both can be swiveled into the middle, right? You can get them into a position.
Right.
And that seat we have not talked about yet.
Yes.
That is our new swivel seat attachment, which is not included with the gym. It is an extra add-on.
Sure.
But that can be used there on the front, but you can also adjust that and lock it into the inside of the upright and then pop that pin. And now you're sitting in the middle of your uprights using both pulleys. So now you can get 400 pounds if you really want to test your strength.
Yeah, so let's actually set that up because this is really unique, and this is a design I have not seen anybody make, and I actually forgot to even bring this up, so thanks for bringing it up. So basically, as he mentioned, this is a swivel seat that can be used whether you're on the side of the rack or if you're in the middle of the rack. So as you can see, Nolan is actually getting this set up right now for you. This is really cool. I don't think there's anybody that's even out there that made this. Is that correct?
That's correct. Yeah, this is a patented design that we came out with. Really something we're proud of. It was just another innovation for a solution to something that we were all kind of looking for. And you know, we originally came out with it was for the FTR and the C20.
Okay.
Again, the FTR doesn't have center pulleys. So to be able to use both weight stacks at the same time in the middle with our freestyle pulley arms really was a game changer.
Nice.
And so this is how you would technically set it up. I bring this thing down to find kind of that perfect position for me. And so you can swing these guys in. And remember, these are removable and adjustable. So if you wanted to put these higher so they weren't interfering, you can easily do that. So just for the sake of the video and the demonstration, we have the... And so you just step in here, you have your leg hold down. You can put this at any height. I'd probably put this down just a hair lower because I'm tall.
Right.
But from here, you'd be able to use both of these pulleys here, right? And again, these are adjustable. I can go even higher than this and get that full extension, but now I'm able to use the weight of both stacks.
Nice, that's really nice. This is very unique. And the thing about this also is that even though it's on here with a 2x2 rack, this can be used with a 2x2 or a 3x3. Also, the way that this is designed is that even though we have this on a 5x8 hole, it does come with a extension to be able to use it for 1-inch racks as well, correct?
Correct, yeah, it comes in the box. You get basically the sleeve that goes over the top of it, so it fits a 1-inch hole, 3-inch upright. Okay. And then it also has an extra nut, so you get the bigger nut and the smaller one that come right in the box.
Nice, nice. Yeah. All right, so this is going to be dropping on June 1st, which is Monday. I'm out here on May 30th as kind of like a last minute thing that we just kind of talked about literally at the last minute. So I was really excited to see this. This is something that's unique, even though 2x2s are very common. Again, this is just a very unique, good quality rack. There's a lot of nice features on here, and I'll put a lot of that stuff into the descriptions below, so that way if you want to kind of get a more feel of what's all coming with it, it's going to be a really nice product that's going to be presented next week and also at Home Gym Con. So if you do follow Home Gym Con, this is going to be a very good opportunity to meet Force USA, see some of the new products that they're going to be coming out with. As Nolan mentioned, he can't really talk about it, so I'm even curious to see what's going to be coming out. He did tell me a couple of things that I can't disclose, but I won't ruin that for y'all. So that'll be something for y'all to be excited to looking into. So now, again, the price for the M10 without the weight selector is how much? $29.99?
So with the plate carrier, it'll be $29.99, and then with the 150-pound weight stack option, it'll be $34.99.
Now, I just thought of something before I end this. Not only are we talking about the rack that we have, y'all are also launching a new line of benches, correct?
That's correct, yeah, thanks for mentioning that. Yeah, so I'll actually move this out of the way for you.
Okay, so before we end this video, I also wanted to talk about the lineup of the benches that Force USA is going to be coming out with. This is their new flat bench, and will this flat bench also be at the Home Gym Con as well?
Absolutely, yeah. So this is just a really good insight to see where the design is going for our future of benches. And so we just launched the Peak Flat Bench a week or two ago. It's live on our website. But what we really like about this is just the design work that have gone into it. So we improved the leather and composite on here. So it's a performance upholstery with some nice gripping, very nice kind of medium cushioning there. We beefed up everything underneath. So you got 11 gauge steel all throughout. And it's just an extremely stable design. Obviously for a flat bench, there's not a lot of movement. So it's nice to be able to create something that's super stable underneath when you're lifting, especially going heavy on bench or something. But this is just a sneak peek to see what the next version or the other products are going to be coming out in the bench lineup, because we will be having a couple full adjustable benches that will be in a very similar format as this.
Nice. And will those benches possibly be at the Home Gym Con?
So our FID should be there.
Okay.
So that'll be our full incline-decline bench. But again, sliding benches still to be determined. Until we get that perfect and where it needs to be,
sure,
we're not going to release it. We got to make sure that people get what they pay for.
All right, so this is the Force USA M10. This will be available by the time this video comes out. If it's it'll either already be out or it will be coming out on the day that I release this. They also will be having it available at Home Gym Con. So if you are going, make sure you stop by Force USA booth, because last year they had a phenomenal experience introducing new products, and I don't think that this year is going to be any different. Plus they're going to have more stuff that we're not even talking about right now that should be there as well. So Nolan, is there anything else about the M10 or any future things that's coming out that you'd like to let us know about?
No, we're just really excited about the things that we have coming. It feels like every few months we got something new we're launching, and we're trying to keep the excitement up. As we had so much success with the C20 and the 3x3 lineup, we want to keep that steam, keep that momentum. And as a company, we're just super excited and motivated to keep coming out with new things and innovating. So there's not going to be any shortage of new product coming, but check out the M10 on June 1st.
Nice, nice. Well, I appreciate what y'all doing for the community and for the environment in general, for just the home gym community and just gyms in general. Y'all are putting out some really good products, and y'all are being very innovative. For example, just that dual lock is just very nice. So thank you for providing good quality products to the home gym community.
Absolutely, man. Thanks for being a voice.
Yeah, and thank you for coming out here and letting me come out here and spend some time with you. So
absolutely.
Again, this is Nolan with Force USA. My name is Danny with DD Fitness. Again, I'll put all the information in the description below. Make sure you would check out Home Gym Con, and when you go, make sure you go and check out Force USA's booth.